All right, what's going on, guys? Open Championship week at St. Andrews, one of my favorite courses in the world, places in the world as well. I am lucky to be here. I'm just north, about 10, 15 minutes north of Dundee, Scotland. So giving you some picks and some advice right from property, basically, right from where the Open Championship is being played in Scotland. So, hey, let's look at this list. I mean, there's some really good favorites. I'm going to give you a couple kind of big name favorites, kind of middle of the road guys, and then a couple really good value as well. So take a look at, obviously, no surprise, 9-1. And in DFS, he's leading at 11,100. Rory McIlroy. What a pick Rory is, okay? I know he's favorite. I know he's the number one guy. But what has he done, the big bugaboo in major championships? Off to a bad start in the first round. What has he done the last two majors? Oh, I don't know. He's averaged 66 in his opening rounds at the PGA and also at the U.S. Open, a couple of really tough golf courses. St. Andrews, not quite as tough. The wind's not going to be up as much. What's his simple strategy? I talked with Rory about that recently. What is he looking at? And he says, you got to keep the ball left off the tee. You got to avoid the bunkers, the pot bunkers. There's so many of them. So avoid them, and then work your lag putting. He feels confident in all those areas. And then when you look at his strengths, okay, when he's talking about driving and avoiding the bunkers, he is fifth in distance right now. Okay, so one of the longest hitters. That's always an advantage at St. Andrews. It will be this year. He's first in scoring average, which is unbelievable. You got to make a ton of birdies to stay in the mix at St. Andrews. And he's eighth in putting. I mean, he's got the trifecta. He's got all three things you would absolutely need to have a great week at the old course. He's got good vibes from 2010. Remember when he opened with the 63? I know he shot 80, but then he finished tied for third. That was the last time at age 21 Rory was at the Open Championship. He missed it in 2015, as we know. I asked him, you missed it with a soccer injury in 2015. Have you played soccer since? He said, heck no, not having it. Rory McIlroy is a deserved favorite for this week at the Open. When you look on down the line, who are some other players? Obviously, Rory is a big one. Jordan Spieth, I don't think you can go wrong picking him at 10,000. He tied for 10th in the Scottish Open. What does that tell us? He's playing really well on links golf courses, and he's playing well in the wind, in adapting to the wind, as we saw so much. Padraig Harrington said he was having a hard time hitting a 6-iron 124 into the wind. It was that brutal. So you're seeing consistent good play from him recently. What did he also say about the old course? Okay, the wind is not supposed to be up too much, maybe 12, 15 miles an hour for the days of tournament. He said that this could be a wedge contest. If the wind is not too crazy, which is not expected to be too crazy, it's going to be all about how do you hit it from those short distances. And where is he at right now? From 50 to 125 yards, Jordan Spieth, where does he rank? Top 20. He's 19th on the PGA Tour this year. So a really confident and strong pick for this golf course. Shots gained off the tee. He's improved over 100 spots from last year. I asked with him recently about what is he looking at with his game, and he said he's really proud of the fact that he's hitting a lot farther. He's hitting a lot more consistency off the tee, finding a lot more fairways, and so that shows you, proving the pudding. 32nd in driving distance, 34th in driving distance. So he's not the shortest guy in the world. He's hitting at 307.5, okay? So this is really going to help him. Not going to quite be Rory long, but I'll tell you, with his solid wedge play and with his iron play, this is combining that with a good driver. It's as good as it's been in a couple years. This is a really huge key and a good reason to go with Jordan Spieth for this week. I'm looking beyond that. Of course, there's some big names. Outside of that, kind of more middle of the road as you look at Viktor Hovland. You just go down a few slots to 9,000 in DFS. Viktor Hovland is a solid pick for the Open Championship at St. Andrews. I know he's never been there. He told me that recently. Never been to the Open. He's really going to have to learn it in those few days leading up, and that's what he's doing. But he loves the creativity and the challenge of links golf. He embraces that. He likes that, obviously you've got to be precise with your chip shots. You got to be precise with your iron shots. He is 10th in shots gained approach. So that's right up his wheelhouse. Good approach player. He's going to have that precision there coming in here. He's 7th in birdie average. Okay, this, with the wind not being too much of a factor, not expected to be, this is going to be something where you've got to stay in the mix and keep scoring on this golf course. That's going to be huge for you as well. 28th in shots gained putting. Okay, this is a really important thing, I think. Slower greens at St. Andrews, okay? So he's going to have to dial that in, but I think his confidence being in the top 30 in putting is a huge asset for a player like Viktor, who already hits it plenty far and with that much good iron play. The thing is, everyone wants to say, oh yeah, chipping, he's not going to have it. When it's slower greens, it's going to be a lot more hidden that being outside the top 204 in shots gained around the green. This is really a good fit. This is not Augusta National, okay, where you can't get away with not chipping at a really high level. Hovland is in a place where I think this is a course that really matches up well. He is third in approach shots. We're talking about this being possibly a wedge fest, Spieth talking earlier. From 125 to 150, he is third in that department on the PGA Tour. Okay, so if he's got a wedge in his hand in that range, that's pretty good. So Viktor Hovland, keep an eye on what he could do for you this week. A solid pick. So I'm looking at other players. I'll obviously go down the list a few more spots. Corey Connors at 8,200. Very solid player. You might ask me why that. Confidence in his putting at the moment. Lag putting. Danny Saul, I spoke with his caddy, Danny, this week, and I said, how is he feeling about short game putting? He said he feels good about putting from around the greens, not necessarily always chipping, right? You can oftentimes, because it's so closely mown, you can putt it. And Corey is finding confidence and a comfortability with that approach going in. Beyond that, he's fifth in greens in regulation. Okay, this is an iron green ball striking machine, okay? He'll hit any green you need, okay? So that's an important aspect as well. The other thing is driving. Accuracy is huge for what he brings to the table. He's in the top 35 in driving accuracy off the tee. He also has a photographic memory, according to his caddy, Danny Saul was telling me, that's huge here at St. Andrews, right? If you get up to some of these shots which are a little bit blind and you have a little bit of wind you're working with, you got to find those sight lines. He is really good about remembering the sight lines, the targets he needs to take. When you have a flat course like this, there's a lot of interesting angles that you're looking at, and you have to have a good angle into these greens. So I like what Corey Connors will be able to do in hitting those fairways and finding those right angles for you, giving you a good shot. I mean, this is a pretty good pick. I really think that he's going to be a solid player for you when you play DFS this week. So take an eye out for Corey Connors. He is at 8,200. And I'm just looking beyond that, seeing if there's anything else here. There's two more I got for you. Mark Leishman, I want to start with him. I asked him about the golf course. What does he like about St. Andrews? It reminds him of home, okay? Playing links golf, growing up in Australia, right? He loves the creativity of using the slopes to get the ball close to the hole, not using spin of your wedges. He said flop shots are out the window completely this week, and he loves that. He loves that you're going to hit like a 7-iron, hit a 9-iron around the green, and let the slope take it 40 feet, get it close to the hole. That's something he embraces. That's something he's really comfortable with. When you look at other numbers, we talk about approach shots with sand wedges, right? Jordan Spieth said this week it's so important. It could be a wedge fest. Well, from 100 to 125 yards, your guy Mark Leishman, where is he ranked? Top 20. He's 19th at the moment. So he's really fine-tuned in that area, which I think is going to help you for this week. Leishman, other good positives. He enjoys the feel of links golf. He told me that a couple months ago when I talked to him at Wells Fargo. He likes just being able to be creative and running up shots to the green, approach shots as well, not just chips. So this is something he's pretty comfortable with. You've got to control your ball, the bottom line, and that's something he doesn't mind working around that challenge. That's something that he's really happy with. So keep an eye out for what Mark Leishman can bring to your lineup this week. I think it's 7,400. I think that's pretty solid as a player there for this week. And then lastly, I want to finish with Seamus Power, 7,400 in DFS. Solid pick. Okay, you might ask why. Okay, this is a newbie. He's never played an Open Championship. You can be negative off the bat. No. But what has he done in majors? He's been on fire in major championships this year. He's tied for 27th, his debut at the Masters, okay? Tied for 9th at the PGA Championship, and he was actually in the hunt there through a few of those holes, kind of on the front 9. So he's tasted the heat. T12 at the U.S. Open, a very difficult golf course. So he's not afraid of the stage. And here you are taking a guy at very good value who's going to be able to give you, I would guess, a pretty strong finish for this week. He's already shown that he is comfortable at St. Andrews. I asked him, what is your familiarity with it? He said he's played the Links Trophy there many times as an amateur, okay? And that's something he's very confident with. So we're going to see what he is able to do this week. He's 7 the greens in regulation, okay? So approach shots are going to be dialed in. That's so important. iron play is so important to be getting close to these holes there at St. Andrews. And then also he's 20th in scoring average. Okay, you got to keep that thing going, as we would assume this is going to be a low scoring affair. It was double digits under par in 2015 when Zach Johnson won. So what else does he have? He recently, if you want good form, tied for 25th at the Travelers. So there's a lot to like about Seamus Power. This is a guy I think that you're going to get the most value with. I think he's probably the best value on the entire board when you're looking at a player who is already trending in big events and who knows the course enough as he does and has the right tools for a test like this. So keep an eye out for Seamus Power. And if you enjoy this content, go ahead and subscribe. Hope you guys had a blast, and we'll catch up soon.